At the start of the 1920s, Warren G. Harding was one of the most popular presidents the United States had ever had. He brokered peace treaties with Germany and Austria. He established the first child welfare program. He established the Veterans Bureau. He cut unemployment in half. He lowered taxes. He even sponsored an anti-lynching bill that unfortunately failed to pass because it turns out that we all come from horrible races who can't even agree to make it illegal to have random black people be lynched by mobs. Then he had a massive heart attack and died in office, and the nation mourned. Until shortly thereafter, where they learned that his entire presidency had been plagued by corruption, mostly due to all of the friends that he had put in prestigious positions, like the aforementioned Veterans Bureau director. And at that point, he suddenly became known as one of our worst presidents ever. In addition to all of those political scandals, he also was scandalized in his private life by being something of a ladies' man. He was married before he got into office, and his wife, Florence King, seemed like a total badass who was potentially responsible for pushing him to as much success as he got in both business and politics. But that wasn't enough for Harding, and as we know, due to his salacious love letters, he also had a mistress named Carrie Fulton Phillips, who some historians described as being his one true love. And it's weird that some historians would think that, since immediately following Harding's death, another woman named Nan Britton wrote an entire book about their affair called The President's Daughter, so named because, as you may have guessed, the affair supposedly resulted in the birth of a daughter, who, Nan Britton pointed out, had been financially supported by Harding for many years prior to his death. When he died, obviously she lost that financial support and, feeling as though she had nowhere else to turn, decided to sell the book as a way to support her and her daughter. A lot of people at the time believed Britton, but a lot of other people, particularly Harding's surviving family, tore her to shreds in the media, implying that she was just some lying whore who was out to get Harding's money. For decades, Britton and her family were abused over this claim, including during a particularly brutal court trial where Britton attempted to sue someone for defamation for saying that she was lying. And when she died in 1990, she continued to claim that she had been telling the truth. Recently, thanks to one of Harding's legitimate grandnephews, Dr. Peter Harding, we know that Nan Britton was, in fact, telling the truth the entire time. Harding compared his DNA to that of Britton's grandson and found that they are, in fact, second cousins. Despite the rock-solid scientific evidence that Britton was telling the truth, some of Harding's surviving family members are still skeptical, which is just astonishing because Harding is already known as one of the worst presidents in the United States' history, and he's already known to have had one extramarital affair. Does it really bring you that much prestige to continue to claim that you're his family member to the point where learning of one other affair would suddenly bring all of that crashing down? The denial of science by Harding's relatives really illustrates the power of idolizing your ancestors. I'm sure that they took a lot of pride growing up in being related to a U.S. president, even if he was maybe one of the worst U.S. presidents of all time. But now is the time to set that aside and to not take pride in who your grandfather was, but take pride in who you are today. And who you are should not be someone denying science because you hate a woman who slept with your grandpa.